Hey guys, we have an anime channel called Mystic Sage, where I do a lot of anime stuff. If you like anime, consider checking it out. I will leave a link for that and for the most recent video I posted down in the description below and in the icon above. We also have merch on sale if any of these shirts look cool to you, like Shepherd's Delight. Go check that out in the description as well. Pokemon Sword and Shield are right around the corner, and as all you know, not all of the Pokemon are going to be joining us in this adventure. So to make this easy and blunt, I wanted to make a list of Pokemon that I think will not be in Pokemon Sword and Shield. Note that these Pokemon aren't Pokemon I dislike or anything of that sort. I legitimately do not think these Pokemon will be in the games due to their origins, real-life locations, or Pokemon region locations. Other factors will also be considered, such as climate. You guys will see, and I think you guys will enjoy this list, and will think this is an accurate representation of Pokemon that won't be in Sword and Shield. With that being said though, I think we're ready for this. So coming into the number 10 spot is a bit of an expected one, being the Elemental Monkeys. I actually have quite a few reasons for why I believe these three lines won't be appearing in Sword and Shield. The most obvious reason being is that not many people like them. Now I'm sorry to all you Simisear lovers out there, but unfortunately, you're very much in the minority. Most people just really don't care about these Pokemon, and I'm definitely one of them. With that being said, I just can't imagine that Game Freak, with all this National Dex controversy surrounding them, would consciously make the decision to potentially cut more beloved Pokemon for ones that a large amount of the audience do not like. It just wouldn't make sense to me. Now, another reason for them being cut would simply be due to location. Typically, we found the Elemental Monkeys in forest areas. However, not all forest areas feel the same. Pinwheel, Lost Thorn, and Sandalone all feel very different from the likes of Eternal Forest and Lush Jungle. So why do I bring this up? Well, being from everything we've seen of the forest-like areas in this game, none of them really scream being an Elemental Monkey habitat to me. I hope that makes sense to you, but it really comes down to just a personal feeling in that department. Due to these not being the strongest of reasonings, I couldn't put them much higher on the list. But I do feel they were strong enough to make it, and I hope you all feel the same. Coming into the 9th place, we have Cacturne. Cacturne is just one of those Pokemon that is seemingly being overshadowed right now. When I mean overshadowed, I'm specifically talking about how Maractus is already inside of Pokemon Sword and Shield. My question is, we already have one cactus in. Why do we need another? The other thing is, the Cacnea line is a full-blown desert cactus Pokemon, and is only seen in most desert places like Route 111 in Hoenn and Route 228 in Sinnoh. Both of these places are infested with sandstorms and desert-like climates. Maractus is based around the prickly pear cactus, which resides around several parts of the world. Not to mention they are the most cold tolerant of the lowland cacti, and in British land, yeah, it can get pretty cold there. I can see why Maractus gets picked over Cacturne solely because of its origin, so it makes sense. At number 8, we have the bug catcher Pokemon, Carnivine. For similar reasons to the Cacturne line, I just feel like it can be easily overshadowed by other simple grass Pokemon like Lilligant or even Cherim. I mean, sure, Game Freak has put Carnivine in a decent amount of games, but it really feels like it's just been there for the sake of being there. It's kind of just a dex filler to me. And while I kind of like Carnivine, I just think there are many more Pokemon that would be more welcomed in a restricted region compared to it. It really is hard to make these kinds of comments because at the end of the day, it's still someone's favorite. But at the end of the day, if we had to choose which ones to keep and which ones to kick, Carnivine wouldn't be at the top of my list. Do you guys remember these Pokemon? All the Pokemon that represent the alphabet and have a lot of different forms? Yeah, neither do I. The unknown really haven't been a humongous topic since the days of Generation 4. I mean, sure, they appeared in the Mirage spots and Oras, but what have they really done? They were in Pokemon 3, were hyped up, and weren't really touched on ever since. I remember seeing this website a few years back that had special unknown characters in it sometime in the Generation 6 days, but I don't exactly remember what the time period was or what the website even equated to. I don't know what Game Freak was trying to do with that, but unknown just don't really seem that important anymore as much as they used to be. What was their purpose in the first place? I really don't know. And I don't think they're going to be coming back at any point in the future, especially because of all the places where you could find them were in Kanto, Johto, and Sinnoh. They all had unique runes that they came from, but we haven't had any of those since Generation 4. So at this point, they just take up deck space. Rip unknown. I hope they don't come back unless they have a specific reason to come back to the decks. Rounding off the bottom half of this list, we have the adorable Posy Picker Pokemon, Comfey. To go on a little bit of a tangent, I just have to say that I love this adorable thing. It being based on a Hawaiian lei is just awesome, and I really love Brock's in the Sun and Moon anime. I would absolutely love to see it in Sword and Shield, as I'm sure many other people would. But here lies the problem, as you'll see with a handful of other Pokemon on this list, it's just way too tropical for this particular region. Now I know everything is not one-to-one on the official Galar map, but unless there are entire sections that just don't straight up appear on it, then I'm very doubtful it could actually fit anywhere in this region. I'm not saying we need another Alola or Hawaiian type setting for this Pokemon to exist in a region by any means, as regions aren't always a one-to-one with the places they are based on. Remember the harsh deserts of New York? Yeah, me neither. But this just doesn't seem to be the case here for Comfey. It just doesn't feel like it fits in with the region. I hope that I'm actually wrong on this one, as I would love to see its cute little face in Galar, but I'm really just not hopeful at this point in time. Onto the bottom half of the list, we have the Blast Turtle Pokemon being Turtonator. Now, there are a number of reasons as to why I firmly believe Turtonator will not be in Pokemon Sword and Shield. Number one, because of the weather. In Britain, there's a lot of rain, snow, and sleet, and I just don't think the habitat for Turtonator is right for it in Galar. The climate is just too cold, and the whole tropical aspect of it doesn't fit. The origin of Turtonator is based off of the Matamata, a turtle primarily located in South America. The climate down there is warmer for sure. Turtonator being based in Alola, where it's originally found, seems like a more fitting environment than Galar for sure. Plus, with how Kiawe uses it in the Pokemon anime, it just makes me think that Turtonator should just stay native to Alola. It doesn't make sense for it to be anywhere else unless we got a South American region. For there to be a volcanic island detonating flame turtle Pokemon to be in Britain, it just doesn't make sense to me. In our number 4 spot, we have another Pokemon that just doesn't really fit in the Galar region, to the same degree that Comfey doesn't fit. And that Pokemon is Tropius. Man, honestly, this one bums me out a lot. Tropius would be such a magnificent Pokemon to see in the wild areas of Galar. But just like Comfey, I can't picture this big banana neck fitting in. The only way I could actually see Tropius appearing in Galar is if it got a Galarian form, and it completely changed its concept from bananas on its neck to grapes or something, which could actually be pretty fitting given the potential royalty theme that part of this region has. Definitely would have a king servant kind of vibe. But yeah, unless that happens, I can't really picture Tropius making the cut. But who knows? Maybe we'll get to see a nice surprise once the games are finally released. Coming up at number 3, we have a tie between 11 Pokemon, being all the Ultra Beasts. Now, I really love the Ultra Beasts, with my favorite one being Xurkitree. Their concept is so cool, my Pokemon that come from another dimension. I know a lot of people don't really care for them because of how weird they look, but I feel that's kind of the point. They're not of this world, so they don't look like they're from here accordingly. They're just plain awesome. But I will admit, their presence in Galar just wouldn't make too much sense. The Ultra Beasts were very prominent for the story of the Alola games, as Lucamine and Necrozma a bit as well were the reasons for their appearance in our dimension in the first place. Now, I'm not saying that they couldn't have a role here, or that Ultra Wormholes couldn't open up in other regions. I just believe that it's unlikely. This is another one where I'd really like to be proven wrong and see them make an appearance, and I wouldn't mind some new ones as well. But I just don't see that happening, and I feel most people are thinking the same way. Just barely missing the number 1 spot, we have the ugliest sin, Humu Nuku Kuapua, other known as Bruxish. I believe this one really ticks all the boxes of not making a sudden appearance outside of Lola at this point in time. A Pokemon that I can't imagine many people truly like or as popular, check. A bit too tropical and foreign to fit in a place like Galar, check. Many more interesting fish Pokemon to catch instead of this abomination, checkaroo. I know this one is definitely a lot more opinionated than the others on this list, but I feel I'm not alone on this one. The only thing I think could justify bringing this Pokemon over is specifically for the shiny hunting purposes. And even then, that is for such a small amount of players that I can't imagine Game Freak would care to do that when they can please so many more fans of Pokemon like Sharpedo, Wishiwashi, and hell, even Stunfisk. As unfortunate as this Pokemon is in the looks department, it's even more unfortunate for the people that wanted Pokemon Sword and Shield, because I just don't see it happening. coming in with the dreaded number 1 slot on a list like this is the entirety of the Broomy line. We've got 3 forms of Broomy in Wormadam, which are the Sandy Cloak, Plant Cloak, and Trash Cloak. If we're going to be leaving out Broomy in any way though, we're going to have to leave out Mothim as well. Sorry Adrive, but it's just going to have to be that way. Broomy is based off of bagworms, which are insects primarily found in America. As we previously brought up on the list, Galar is based mostly on the United Kingdom and Europe, so finding bagworms there just isn't very likely. I can admit though that bagworms are found around the world, but it seems like the ones that Broomy and its line are based off of are not the kind you'd find in Europe. Now beyond just the area of the world that Galar is based off of, you need to remember just why we're making this video in the first place, because these games can't feature every Pokemon ever. A big part of the National Dex being included is the amount of time they have to model and program in Pokemon. And when you have 3 forms followed by 2 branching evolution Pokemon, where one has 3 forms as well, you're really on thin ice to be included, especially for not an overly popular Pokemon. Again, sorry Adrive, but I don't think many people besides yourself would be that bummed for missing out Mothim. If the bar didn't have to be set somewhat high for Pokemon to make in the Sword and Shield, I'd be all for the Broomy line. But when you're not a very good Pokemon and you'd produce more trouble than you're worth, sorry, but you're just not worth including. Well, those are the Pokemon I think will be in Pokemon Sword and Shield, based on the circumstances I mentioned earlier. I hope this list is pretty accurate in terms of Pokemon that won't be returning. No hate to any of these Pokemon at all. I actually like the majority of the Pokemon on this list. But alas, I don't think these Pokemon will see any light in Galar, unfortunately. What Pokemon do you guys think won't be in Sword and Shield though? Let me know down below. If you enjoyed the video, why not leave a like and subscribe to my channel with notifications on, that way you never miss an upload. I also have an anime channel called Mystic Sage where I create a bunch of anime speculations and reviews, so if you like anime content, consider checking that out. If you want to support me further, consider following my Twitch where I stream a lot of Pokemon content and Nintendo content like Shiny Hunting, Showdown Battles, Explorers of Sky, Zelda, Fire Emblem, Smash Brothers, Borderlands, you name it, I play it. Want to support me further in Game Club perks? Check out my Patreon. Daniel Leone, Lady Crimson, Pal491, The Lazy Leo, Matthew Young, Awesome Lego, Jarrett Weezosted, and Sodden Grider did, and I want to thank them personally for going above and beyond. It means the world to me. I think I'm gonna wrap this up though. I'm Mr. Gumbrian, and I will see you in the future for more awesome Pokemon content.